Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Boy, oh boy. Alrighty, so obviously today I'm bringing you the review of the Demko knives AD-20.5. Finally, this has been a long time in the coming. I've had these knives for a very, very long time, but I really tried to give these guys a really good, fair shake. I review them very thoroughly, and also just, life happens. I've been incredibly busy and dealing with some stuff I'd rather not, so we're finally here. And this setup that we have right now for the video, I'm sorry, we'll get to the knives in just a second. It's going to take us a little while because I'm not sure if this is the setting I want for my reviews going forward. I'm still trying to figure out my new filming location and setup. I'm using a new camera stand right now that I'm not sure I particularly like. I feel like we're a little bit far away from everything, but let me know in the comments below what you think. If you guys like it, maybe I will leave it the way it is. Yeah, I have not filmed a review since like April. I've been writing off of the pre-recorded content and, just hoping for that to get me along. But now I've overlapped all my pre-recorded content, so now I am scrambling to get these reviews out for you guys. Been incredibly busy, of course. Finished up the semester, been back at my full-time summer job, so it's been hectic. And I just got done filming the cutting footage for these knives, and ooh, that's going to be interesting. I'll tell you guys what. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these knives. Let's start off with our blade length measurements and stuff. Thank you, by the way, to old Tonto Guy for sending me these new rulers. You guys haven't seen the unboxing yet, but I do appreciate that, man. This is one of the things I don't like about this location is that the color changes a lot when I'm filming. Like, this looks pretty good, but then I move my hands. Oh, wait, actually, maybe it'll stay. Oh, I don't know. Whatever. Okay, so we will do blade length measurements here pretty quick. Let's start off with the shark's foot blade. Coming in at pretty much, well, get on screen, Gideon. Come on now. Pretty much 3 inches. Yeah, pretty much. And then on this one, we're looking at, make sure we go all the way back there, just a little bit over 3. So, maybe 3 1/4, we'll call it. I'm going to go ahead and use this one for size comparisons, the clip point. This is also the one I'm going to be using for the cutting footage, just because it's the plain edge, and as you guys can see, I have the serrated edge on the shark's foot. And also, I already have an entire video about this knife and what carrying it and cutting with it was like, so definitely check that out. I'll leave a link in a card in the video. Well, and then you guys can also check out my IEDC blank for blank playlist. Okay, so let's get into our size comparisons. Let's start out with our standards, of course. We have the Ontario Rat 1. I think we're do big ones on top. And the Rat 2. So it kind of fits right there in the middle. Whoa. I'm not sure I like this camera setup. So yeah, it kind of fits right there in the middle between them. And by the way, this is this version here is a DLT trading exclusive from a long time ago with the green scales. Forgot to mention that. I'm not sure if it's important, but there it is. Next up, we have the Benchmade Bug Out. Very similarly sized to the Bug Out. And there's our PM2. So there we go. Actually not far off from PM2 either. Is that just my camera angle making it look weird? No, they're actually not too dissimilar. Let's go ahead and bring out our Civivis, because why not? There's the Elementum. Small one on the bottom, Gideon. And there's the Praxis. I need to take that cord off the Elementum one of these days. Oh boy, guys. And then, just to finish off, here's another Demko design. Here's the Cold Steel AD-15 Light. Similar blade steel and, just Demko design. And then here's the Cold Steel Code 4. Is this a Demko design as well? It might be, but I'm not sure. But anyways, there's the code 4. Nice little lineup there. Alrighty, so what are we looking at in terms of materials and such? So we have a blade of, controversially, Austin A, stonewash finish. We have Grevex or plastic handles, steel liners, and we're working with the shark lock here. So this knife needs no further introduction. We've already taken up enough of your time. So let's go ahead and go right into the cutting footage and some other random footage that I have lying around. All right, let's try this. Gosh, I haven't done any filming, any cutting footage filming for a long time. The wind has been a huge problem lately, and I bought some microphones to kind of help some of my sound stuff, but they were just crap. They were just straight up crap. So those didn't work. We're just gonna go ahead and do this. I thought about doing the cutting inside, but you know what? That's no fun, right? You guys deserve the outside cutting, just like all my other reviews I try to do. So here we are. We're gonna try and get this done. Have a new little thing set up here. We've got some guests coming, but let's talk about the Demko AD-20.5. Finally, right? I've had this knife for a long time and have a lot of thoughts about it. Let's go ahead and get the cutting done. Hello, goats. Don't eat my equipment. I want to do this up in the mountains, but doing anything nowadays requires too much planning. So let's go ahead and get the hell out of here. No, you cannot eat that. Not sure how we're going to do this, but you know what? Oh gosh, I have a lot to figure out for filming this summer. Okay, so let's talk about the action. I don't have to say a whole lot. Everyone's already said what needs to be said here. Get out of there. You know what? This is going on the table. Yeah, you be mad. Dumb idiot. Okay. Gosh. Oh, the video has been derailed by goats. Can you hear them? Here, you, come here. Come here, ugly. Come here. Over here. Over here. Ugh. No. Get out here. Some of the young goats have figured out how to escape the pin, and we've been trying. Should I just start over? You know what? No, screw it. We're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. So, the action is phenomenal. The shark lock is very, very fidgety. The bearings in here are pretty good. I know some people like to swap them out. But just stock bearings, out of the box, perfectly fine. Got the reverse flick, thumb flick. You can reverse flick off the thumb stud or the fuller. You can open it and close it with the shark lock itself. So, good deal there. How are the ergos? Andrew Demko is just... The Demkos are just masters of ergonomics. There's no other way to say it. So, yeah, the knife fits in your hand really well. You have a place to choke up here. The jimping is excellent. I love the jimping on these knives. Very well done. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect. Shut up, wind. So, gosh, I wish I could control the weather. That'd be so nice. Make it rain on some of the fires over here in New Mexico. We're going to pause. I feel like we've returned to the old days of the channel. We've got amateur hour going here. Not that I was ever professional or anything, but... Anyways, the ergonomics on this knife are very good. It's a smaller... It's what I would call a medium-sized knife, I guess, but the ergonomics are good. Even with gloves, I felt that it was easy to index this knife and know where the edge is and get all your cuts done, so... That's good. How's it carry? So you have this pocket clip. I've talked to people who said they don't like this pocket clip, like it's too shallow or something. I think it's a fine pocket clip. And the Demkos include another pocket clip in the packaging when you buy the knife, so you can have the lefty clip. So that's awesome. That makes this a fully ambidextrous knife, which is perfect, given the shark lock and all that. The clip itself, I think, is really good. Reminds me a lot of, trying to get used to this new tripod. Reminds me a lot of the Spyderco clips. And that's a good thing, because I think Spyderco makes a good pocket clip. If you're not hitting the pin that's in your pocket, it goes in and out really well. And I don't think there's anything wrong with shallow carry. It gives you something to grab onto, especially if you've got gloves. If you're not going to use this knife with gloves, maybe you could go for an aftermarket deep carry clip. But let's go ahead and do some cutting, shall we? So, let's direct our attention over here. Gosh. Oh, guys, why do you watch this channel? We're so... I don't even know what we are anymore. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this box cut up. This knife is not the thinnest behind the edge. I'm just going to say that right now. We're also going to be using my clip point version because my shark's foot version is fully serrated. But anyways. Something I really like about this clip point blade shape is it's a straight clip point, so you can do your utility cuts pretty easily. And the knife itself, I mean, it will cut. The blade stock is not overly thick, so it's not like it's an axe. It will slice, and it'll do a fairly good job of it. So, let's go ahead and do our pull through. Very good for your kind of more heavy-duty cuts. Woo! Yeah, that crunched through the rope nicely. I hope you could see that from all the way over there. Let's grab my pool noodle, which is trying to blow away. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get these pool noodle slices. Yeah, just blow away. So as you can see here, we were able to get pretty thin slices. I did feel the edge. You know, when you're cutting through the pool noodle, you can feel when the behind the edge thickness is a little obtuse, and I could definitely feel that. But it still did very well, better than some knives. So pretty good there. Let's go back inside, shall we? Hey guys, it's Gideon. In the middle of editing. While I was editing this video, I realized that some of the footage I had taken previously is no longer around for some reason. And so I lost some stuff. So we're going to try and recreate what I can remember of the footage that was lost. So basically I was talking about the 20.5, obviously, because that's the video you're watching right now, is a review of this knife. And I was talking about the AD-20.5. So, gosh. Oh man, it's been a rough day. Something else I found while editing was videos that I had of me and my ex-girlfriend that I forgotten were on my computer, and so that was kind of a punch in the gut today, but it's neither here nor there. Gosh, it's going to be such a long, boring video, guys. I'm so sorry. I was talking about the AD-20.5, and a lot of people were talking about it. You know, a lot of people said that it wasn't really performing that well. And so when I heard people talking about, oh, AD-20.5 on the 20.5, oh, boo-hoo, AD-20.5, my first response was, hey, AD-20.5 is awesome. It's awesome, and I completely stand by that. I love AD-20.5. If you guys haven't seen any of my testing videos of AD-20.5, I highly recommend you check them out, because I don't know. I think Austenay is a great steel. It really is. And so when I got my hands on Demko, I noticed that, yeah, the Austin A wasn't that great. It really wasn't. And that was a big disappointment to me as someone who really, really loves Austin A. And I did notice that the steel would go dull on me. Over the course of the time I carried this knife, I've got goat hair on me. Over the course of the time I carried this knife, it went dull quite a bit. And I had to touch up the edge. I had to sharpen it quite a bit. And this was while I was carrying it at college. So I wasn't doing anything like super crazy with it. I wasn't on the ranch, wasn't in the woods or anything. And I was noticing it going dull from like cardboard and strings and food and stuff. And so that definitely gave me a little bit of pause. And I will say, right now the edge is pretty good. It has one of my edges on here now. And it's been staying in shape a little bit better now. But definitely something was off with this batch that they had. And I hear that some of the newer batches are doing better. I already said that in the video that I'm editing, so I should probably just let you guys hear it there. But yeah, I'm disappointed I lost some of the footage I had, so maybe this will make up for it. Okay, I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm actually packing up, getting ready to go somewhere, but I did want to sit down just real quick and talk about the AD-20.5, not 15.5, the 20.5. Went dull on me again, but I honed it up. Literally just did some honing on the work sharp. A little bit on the ceramic, a little bit on the strop. And I did want to show how well the Austin A hones up, even though I haven't been as impressed with it on this knife as I am on things like the 4MAX Scout, my AD-15 Light. It does strop and hone up really, really nicely. So, whoops. So yeah, there is an ease of maintenance benefit to this steel for sure. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get into what I'm liking and not liking about the Demko AD-20.5. Move out of the way, it's VB Elementum. I guess before we get into that, some people were requesting this. So in the background of today's video, again, like I said, guys, we're trying to set up our new filming area, but we have a chlorite schist over there, and here we have a Carcharodontosaurus saharicus. The name means sharp-toothed lizard. I'll give you 3 guesses why I chose to have that one in this video. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it with these knives. So, first thing I like is the look. I'm a sucker for Demkos, and this looks very, very Demko-y. I love this clip point blade. It's a very useful clip point, and it's also a very good looking clip point. That's really, really cool. I like the thumb stud with the slot look. That's awesome. And overall, it just looks really, really cool. Doesn't it? Yeah, it does. The shark's foot version also looks cool. My serrated one really has kind of sharky vibes, don't you think? But yeah, just a really, really awesome looking knives. Geez, where do I go next? It took me a long time to review these knives, and that was because I want to carry them a lot. And specifically, I wanted to use them in some hard use situations to kind of test that shark lock. And so, as you guys know, in the summers, I work on a ranch. I'm out in the woods, working with a chainsaw, building fence, working cows, building stuff, all kinds of nice, neat jobs. And so I use my knives pretty hard out there, and I really, really wanted to test the Demko out there. And something I was worried about was that this knife would feel a little small when I was wearing gloves. And part of the reason was because these knives are quite small, and they're a lot smaller than the full-size AD-20. And so they're pretty thin, too, as you can see there. Let's bring out the rat. Pretty thin knives. And I was worried that, I mean, as you know, for EDC, they work great. Well, you know, let's just say right now, the ergos on this knife, on these knives, are fantastic. The Demkos know what they're doing when it comes to ergos, and this knife is no exception. You have this nice choke-up point here. It's just shaped very well to fit your hand. No real hot spots. It's kind of soft and rounded in all the right places. It feels good. But I was afraid that when I was wearing gloves, the knife would feel like I didn't have enough control over it, or it'd just get lost in my grip. Well, I'm happy to say that that was not the case. Let me grab a glove here. So I took this to work, and something I used it for was doing some wood. I worked doing some wood. Yikes. I need new gloves. But something I do at work sometimes is I make a lot of steaks, because we have a serious vampire problem in northern New Mexico. And now I'm just kidding. But I make a lot of wooden stakes to drive into the ground at the base of T-posts that are starting to come a little bit loose. So if it's coming loose, you drive a wooden stake, you whittle it into a stake, you hammer it into the hole next to the T-post, you wire them together, and then you can pile rock stuff there, and that'll re-stabilize the T-post in your fins. So that's something I use my pocket knife for a lot, is making a lot of those stakes. And so I was afraid that if I was, like really trying to bear down on this knife and stuff, that I would just lose control. I'd lose the knife in my grip. And that didn't happen. This knife actually feels really good in gloves, even choke up, and it's so easy to manipulate in gloves as well. Which is something I'm really, really pleased with, because I work with gloves a lot, and not all knives are great with gloves. So that was something really, really awesome. So the ergonomics on this knife, fantastic. Let's go ahead and talk about the fidget factor next, because yeah, see him nodding his head. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Everyone knows it. I don't really need to say anything else. The shark lock is just tons of fun. It really, really is. So, next, let's talk about the performance. So, again, if you want to hear more about how this knife worked, check out the IEDC to fully serrated knife for 2 weeks video. But this knife I got a lot of use out of. I use this knife a lot, even more than this one. And I will say, the shark's foot blade is really, really awesome. I want to get a plain edge one. In fact, Knife Center, by the way, just dropped these in 3V, and oh, I need to pick one up. I want to pick one up, but there's got other things that I need to spend money on. Bills. But really, really good blade shape. You have, your utility cuts and stuff are really, really nice with this. Here's a little bit of a gently sloping belly here, but really nice blade shape. I like the way that the spine is done, how you can get your finger down into certain places. Just a really, really useful blade shape. As for the fully serrated aspect of it, again, check out that video, and it will tell you all you need to know. As for this knife, so it is a little thick behind the edge. These are about 30 thousandths behind the edge. Not the thinnest things out there. However, the blade stock isn't super thick, so they do slice pretty well. I mean, I wouldn't say they're the best slicers I've ever had, but they're also a far cry from the worst. These work fine. And something that I discovered while using this knife is that these are excellent, excellent wood knives. When I was whittling steaks, this knife was doing such a good job. It has a really nice profile for doing that type of work. And so I really appreciate that. Something else I appreciate about the clip point is that you can still get to your utility cuts. It's a straight clip point instead of a more like a buoy style. And I think some people call this a drop point. This is not a drop point, guys. This is a clip point. But yeah, it worked really, really well for a lot of my harder duty stuff, and I found that really, really cool. Something that I think is interesting is that knives that have kind of more robust grinds that are really good for, you know, your hard use stuff are also pretty good for like light use EDC. Like opening packages and stuff, yeah, this knife could do it, no problem. So that's a nice little thing that this could switch from hard use to EDC. So one more thing I kind of want to move all this stuff out of the way. I'll tell you what, guys, figuring out how, blah, 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 cameras. Anyways, one more thing I want to bring attention to that I really, really like is the packaging that these knives come in, because it does feel special. So you get your knife, comes in this awesome box, this beautiful little schematic of the knife. Demko knives, 20.5. There's a little sticker. Shark lock technology. And it's a good, hard, solid box. So, really, really nice there. Inside the box, you get this wonderful pouch. And these really are great pouches. And they have these zippers here that have the little, you know, you can lock this so your pesky little, I don't know, children, nephews, nieces, cousins, siblings, whatever, wives, husbands. Anyways, whoever you don't want to get in here, robbers, I don't know. you can lock them out, I guess. This little thing here is really, really cool. It's actually a patch. So that comes off. There's a little Velcro thing there. So if you want to put something else on, you certainly can. I like the shark lock patch. I think it's pretty cool. Inside, you get this little plasticky thing that has a cleaning cloth. It says Demko Knives. That's awesome. And the case itself is really cool because you can put 1, 2 knives here, and then over here you have this little pouch where you can put other stuff. I happen to be keeping the extra pocket clip. These knives come with an extra pocket clip, which is awesome, and that's what we're going to talk about next. These knives are fully ambidextrous. Completely ambidextrous. With those pocket clips that are for the left side, you can carry this right or left-handed. You have thumb studs and the slot on the right and left side, and the shark lock is just as easy to manipulate with your left hand as it is your right hand. So that's really, really cool that this knife is so ambidextrously friendly. Ambidextrously friendly. So yeah, that's awesome. That's a big, big plus. And I get next thing. I guess I kind of touched on this, but I should talk about it more. The shark lock is awesome. Not only is it fidgety, but super strong, and it's also easy to use. Like as I was showing just a little bit ago with gloves, it's very intuitive. It's very easy, and you can use your knife just as fast as if you're barehanded. And that's not something you always get. Some knives are pretty difficult to use with gloves. So I like that the shark lock is so, you know, durable and strong and, you know, easy to use. That's really, really great. Next thing, the build quality on these knives is fantastic. It really is. I've never had much issue with the Taiwan factory that makes these. I've had this knife out in the woods for the past couple of weeks, and it's been great, perfectly centered. Everything, lockup is still solid. So yeah, it's been working really great. I also do like the texturing that they have on these scales. It's really good texturing. It's not like super aggressive, but also it's very grippy. This little plate here, this is really cool. They kind of took a page out of Spyderco's book. That's for your clip to land on, so it's not tearing up your pocket. Something Cold Steel could probably take note of. I do like that they did kind of the Demko Knives pivot collar thing here. It's kind of a neat touch. Wampum, Pennsylvania. These are made in Taiwan, like I said, but you know they're based out of Pennsylvania. Very easy to slow roll these knives as well. So if you're a slow roller, there you go. And I guess I just kind of want to wrap up what I like about these knives by saying that they're very useful little knives. And as I was carrying them and using them, that was what became most apparent to me, is that these are just good, useful tools. They're just good pocket knives. You get them out, and in your pocket quick. They will do the job that you need done, especially for me, using them around the ranch, in the woods. I liked that. But even when I was at college, just for basic EDC, I used this knife a lot. And it was really, really good. Wow, that wind is fierce. Jeez, there's a dust storm blowing up out there. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I hope not. But gosh, dang. Mexico's about to blow and burn away. But anyways, they're just very good tools. They're just... How do I explain it? It's one of those things that's kind of abstract. It's a good tool. It's simple, although kind of a little complicated too with the whole shark lock thing, but they just work. It's just... They work. And so that's something that I really appreciate. You know, I know a lot of people were all excited because of the, the fidget factor, but, they do work. They do work. They're good knives, and I don't know, they just give you that satisfied feeling of, good tool. Like, I don't know, like some kind of primal caveman. I don't know what. It's just, I hope you guys know what I'm trying to say. But they do work good as tools, and that's really awesome. That's also awesome that Demko decided to do this, make a more affordable version of one of his customs. That's really, really nice, because if it weren't for this knife, I would never have experienced a shark lock, because I don't have $400, $500 to just drop on an AD-20, so that's really, really cool. Okay, let's go ahead and start to get into some of my complaints and some of the, controversies surrounding these knives. And I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Alrighty, so the first thing I think we need to talk about is the price. These are about $150 for plastic and Austin A. A lot of people were pretty upset about that. And I think it's a little bit too high, but I don't think it's super out of the ballpark. Again, this isn't a Cold Steel. This is Demko's the project. And I was thinking about this knife here. This is the AD-15 Light. This is Austin A with plastic and stuff. And this is $135. This is a really awesome knife. If these came in at $135, that'd be really awesome too. But the thing is there's a lot of work that goes into these locks that Demko makes. There just is. And again, when you're dealing with kind of a smaller company, you might have to pay a little bit more because, he can't just order a million of these, right? And that kind of brings me to the next question, or the next kind of issue, and that's the Austin A. And I will say, as someone who loves Austin A, like really, truly loves it, I'm a big fan of Austin A. I have several videos about me testing out Austin A and just gushing about it. Go check out my testing videos playlist. You'll find them. I tested the heck out of this knife here. And this knife I still use and I love, and it's got a new working edge on it. I think Austin A is awesome. To me, it's always been kind of like, I don't know, it's always been a really good steel because it's easy to maintain. It holds its edge for a good long time. It's not like an edge retention champ, but it's also pretty stainless in my experience, and it's pretty tough. Not 3V or 1075 tough, but it's a pretty tough steel, especially for a stainless steel. So I've always liked Austin A. I've always been a big proponent of it. I will say this knife did not feel quite as Austin A-ish as I was expecting, and I mean this knife here, this is a new edge for me, and I did have to sharpen and touch up this edge a lot, and it's been getting better. I think maybe there was a little bit of a problem with a burned edge, but also I can definitely tell that the steel wasn't quite as good as I was expecting. Now I hear from a lot of people that newer batches of these knives, again, this is an older batch, that the steel is feeling a lot better. So maybe the factory just got one batch of steel that wasn't great. And, of course, now these are being offered in a whole bunch of different steels, including 3V, which is just sexy and yummy. But, yeah, the steel on this knife did not impress me all that much. And it was pretty disappointing, especially as someone who loves Austin A. Now, it did have, you know, the ease of sharpening benefit, but, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. So I'll definitely cede to that. And I do hope that the newer batches are good. So, thumbs up. Alrighty. What else do I have to complain about? I will say they are a little bit smaller than I expected, but that didn't really impact a whole lot. Like, I think these knives are really good. They fit they fit perfectly in kind of a, you know, I was able to carry this all day on the ranch and then just, you know, slip it in my pocket, going to town, or, you know, these knives are great to carry around while I was at college. They're pretty lightweight. They're nice and thin, very easy to carry. So, yeah, really, really nice there. I guess my biggest complaint is that maybe the price might be a little bit too high, but I kind of understand where it's at, and honestly, I think it's not terrible what they're asking. It's not atrocious. So, let's go ahead and go into my final conclusions. I know, right? This has been a very long video, and my final conclusions are just going to be that these are good knives. These are really, really good usable knives. If you're looking for a super slicer, probably look somewhere else, right? If laser beam efficiency is what you're looking for, maybe look somewhere else. But as far as just regular EDC and hard use, these were both fantastic knives, and I think that they were definitely worth what I paid for them. Now, the steel was disappointing for sure. They're, you know, but I think that's being addressed, and the further versions that are coming out are going to be in more and more steels. I just know it. So, my final conclusions are, yeah, it's a good knife. And what did you think my final conclusions were going to be, guys? I mean, come on. It's Andrew Demko. Of course he made a good knife, right? No one's shocked. But they are really good knives. I do enjoy them quite a bit. Now, are they going to be my first choice for out in the woods? I'm actually going to go ahead and say no. For out in the woods, the AD-20.5 is not my first choice. For, you know, on the ranch, on the farm, stuff like that, yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot. Cutting hay string, fruit, feed sacks, pallet straps, things like that. Yeah, great. These will work fantastically. In the woods, they work really, really well for, you know, on wood and stuff. But I mean, they are small knives. They are pretty small knives, so that kind of limits them in some of the things that I require my pocket knife in the woods. I wish I got some footage from work, but it's one of those things where, like, I'm at work. I'm not just going to pull out my camera and start filming like a douche. It's kind of weird. But they're good knives. They really are good knives. I really don't have a whole lot to complain about. In fact, I think there's a lot of things I missed out on saying. Like, the jimping is fantastic. The stonewash that they used is absolutely fantastic. Gorgeous, gorgeous stonewash. I love that. They're great knives, and I can recommend them. They get my seal of approval. Whether you're a fidget nut or a hard worker, this knife's got your back. So, sorry for such a long video and a little bit weird, but I've been Gideon, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.